What's your favorite cut flower to grow? Be honest, probably a dahlia, right? Because who couldn't love a dahlia? For me, they're my absolute favorite. I know you should pick favorites, but oh well. And today I want to walk you through my 2025 dahlia setup, the ones I'll grow again, the ones I bought, and I have a cool little project for my seedling at the end, which I want to talk a little bit about. But I also have a giveaway for you. So keep notes of the varieties you like, and we'll talk about that later. I'm Steffi, I'm a home gardener here in Attleboro, Massachusetts, Zone 6, and cut flowers are my passions, especially dahlias, so welcome to my channel. So let's talk a little bit about my growing space. I grow my dahlias this year in the large L of my cut flower garden. So as you might know, if you follow me already for a while, the large Ls in my garden are for cut flowers. All the beds in between are vegetable garden. But in total, for the cut flower space, I have around 188 square feet, which is a good amount. So in the large L where I'm going to grow my dahlias this year is probably around 100 square feet. So plenty of space there. So that's what we're talking about today. I'll have in the next few weeks also video coming out for my flower varieties in the other L. So those are the ones I grow from seed. But today we only talk dahlias. So let's get going. Let's start first with the dahlias I'm growing again. So I'm just going here through my planting plan. This doesn't have any sort of measure except for where I thought they will fit well. And the front row being a little bit of special row. You will see what I mean by that when we get there. But let's start with the blizzard. If you have been any time around here, you know I'm a sucker for white blooms, and the blizzard is the most perfect white bloom out there, if you ask me. Stem length is exquisite, really, really great tuber producer, and the blooms are just gorgeous. The next one was an interesting one, which surprised me because I couldn't find the label in the beginning, but then eventually I found the label, what it was, because if you know my color palette, it is more like an white, blush, pink, light peachy color. And you will see that for all my varieties, which you will see here in this video today. I had one variety which was bright orange peeking out of one corner of my garden. I was like, what the heck is that? And it wasn't that bright orange the year before, which is kind of interesting. It turned out it had really good vase life, and in the end of the season, like when you start to get into the fall mood, I really enjoyed putting them into like my orangey, peachy toned dahlias to make like more a fall colored looking arrangement. So I'm growing them again, and that's the Joey Nikki. And yeah, a very, very nice, cute orange smallish ball variety. One which actually surprised me last year was because it was such poor tuber producer the year before that I only had like two very, very questionable tubers of that clump, and one of it survived, and that one produced actually normal or nice-ish, in a nice-ish amount of tubers, and that is the K.A. Rosie Joe. It was a really nice one. I think I really enjoyed the bloom. Vase life was great. I gotta say it was not as outstanding as I thought it might be, but it was a nice one which cranked out a decent amount of blooms, but not the most. And the next one is the Cozy Town Jane Ray. I hope I pronounced that correctly. This one was really cutie. It got a little bit overpowered by the other varieties I had there last year, which kind of like were just a little bit more vigorous than that one. So it was a little bit shaded out early. So I was actually surprised that it still produced the number of tubers it did, with only like producing a few blooms. Again, with the dahlia shaded out like this by larger varieties, literally circling it, I was still decently impressed by it, and the blooms it produced were so cute with these two colored blooms, that I definitely wanted to give it another try and put it in a corner where it's not getting that much trouble from the other ones. The next one is an interesting one because that's the only one, I know, the only one of two, which is like an open-centered one, but I really like it. It also doesn't start open center, but it flips very, very fast to open center. But I don't think it is a bad thing with that one, because it's still very, very beautiful with that open center, and that is the Daisy Duke. This one has also really, really pretty dark stems, which I don't have many from. I think Actually, that is probably my only one in this year garden, which has like those beautiful dark stems. And it is a very, very vigorous bloomer. The stem length is not the greatest, so I typically put it in either a bouquet of its own or like just with other short-stemmed varieties together. That is like, I think from all my cut flowers, probably the ones with the shortest stems. And it doesn't matter how hard I cut it. If you know me from the past seasons, you know I'm very, very ruthless when it comes to like cutting my cut flowers hard to have them branch out and produce long stems. So in that case, no matter what I did, it still just produced like stems which are like, I would say like just close to a foot long. So just keep that in mind. Next one is the Cozy Town Gale. You will see through the video, I have a lot of Cozy Town varieties because I'm a huge fan. Love her varieties. I think they do exceptionally well here in our climate. I think my suspicion is because she's also from the East Coast, like East Coast varieties probably grow better on the East Coast here as well. But amazing flower and bloom producer and healthy plants and amazing tuber producers, all of them. So yeah, and a great variety in colors and shapes and so as well. So check out her website. I know she has still some. So that one is the Gale. This was one of my OG varieties I picked and still have it in my garden. It is a really, really cute yellow ball, which goes with the temperature. In the cooler temps, it's a little bit more soft yellow, while when it's really hot, it goes almost into a neon yellow, which is kind of funny. That is a little bit of an aggressive yellow, but I love it for that soft yellowy color around it. Then another one which stole my heart very, very fast because the color is just my jam, like a blush white with beautiful like pink accents in it, and that's the Cozy Town K. And this one is just gorgeous. Also great tuber producer and just like a lovely one which fits like perfect in my color range. Like really love, love, love that one. And the next one is the Cornell Browns. This is just such an really, really reliable bloom producer. Started early, cranked to the frost, and didn't stop in a heartbeat. No matter what the weather was, we had last year in the beginning of the season a lot of rain, but then in August it stopped completely. It wasn't phased at all and really, really healthy, beautiful. It's also not the tallest plant, so it's easier when it comes to staking. I really enjoyed growing that one and the reliability of the blooms it produced, and also really nice and easy tuber clumps to divide. So looking forward to grow a few of them again. I only grow like 3 plants of this one because again, this color is nice, but it's not my main jam. So I mostly keep this one for like my peachy color palette to have a little bit variety in there in color tones, but it's not 100% my color. But nevertheless, I love that plant and how vigorous it is. So it deserves a space in my garden. The next one is a Bermuda Pink. This is also a Cozy Town variety. This is one of the varieties which were new to me last year. So I had just one tuber which I grew out. And that one was a funny plant because every once in a while I would say like every 5 blooms, 1 bloom was a sport, which means the color combo was different than the main plant. So it like every 5th bloom had like a copper tone colored ones, or just like a few leaves with a copper tone in it. It was hilarious. I thought it was so charming of it. But most of them are in a beautiful blush pink in a very pretty small dahlia bloom, which lasts very well in the vase. And then one of my absolute favorite, if you have been any time around here, this is a forever grow for me, and that is the Bloomquist Compare. This one is pure gorgeousness. It is an informal larger bloom, which is so reliable as a bloom producer. But what I love about it the most is, of course, the color, but also the color development through the season. So it starts off with almost like a complete blush white and just some like light pink, purpley, lavendery tips on the petals, and then with the progression of the season, the color turns into more of a lavendery. It's just gorgeous. I love it. Produces a ton of blooms. Really happy plant. And then another cute little forever grow because it mixes so well with any kind of color I have in my garden is the foxy lady. It's also vigorous. It is not bothered by anything and just cranks out blooms nonstop. And it's like a smallish ball variety, and it has like pink undertones, but also yellow undertones. So it goes either way with my color palette. You can totally mix it in with the blush, purpley, pink colors, but also no problem with that yellow undertone it has as well in the peach palette. So it is really, really versatile when it comes to putting it in bouquets as well. And then one of my most very favorite ones, which always makes the name the game. This is the Diva. I just love her. She shows up late, steals the show, and demands all attention. And that's really why I think she got the name, but on purpose. It has the most gorgeous, deep, dark, purpley velvet blooms, which are massive, which are like the prettiest hair all along the bloom head. And I just love her. Like, I have not had one bouquet where she wasn't the centerpiece. And this last year, she also cranked out a lot of blooms for me. The year before, she wasn't the greatest producers, but last year, the season, she really liked it and had blooms nonstop with the Dahlias, which produces like larger blooms and more like, I would say, sophisticated blooms with a lot of petals. They produce by nature a little bit less than smaller or less complex bloom varieties. I think it just takes more energy up in the plant. If you ask me, that's total speculation here. Nevertheless, it produced a really good amount of blooms, was very, very stable, healthy, and happy. So yeah, I can't wait to have her in my hands again. And then the other one, which was with the Cozy Town Gale, my other first Cozy Town Dahlia variety, which is the Baby Cakes, which is still one of my absolute favorite. It is a unicorn type dahlia. It also changes the colors. It starts a little bit more out on the coppery side and then switches more into the pink color palette depending on the temperatures. Yeah, you can get her whenever you are in the season, and I'm just in love with her and the color gradation on how it ages. Gorgeousness. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Next one is a Cozy Town Star, and I really fell in love with her last year. It was the first time I grew her from just one tuber, and it had this massive, gorgeous blooms, which I can see where it got the name from because all the petals were like, had like a little poke to it, which looked like stars, like, or portions of a star, and really, really pretty. I enjoyed her so much. Cranked out a lot of blooms for her size, so I'm excited to grow her again and see how the growing habit is this year. But that one was one which I really enjoyed, as well as the next one, which was a new one to me as well, which was the Bloomquist Ellen. That one was an interesting one because it was really, really tall. I think out of all the varieties I grew last year, it was probably the tallest, which I'm not short. I'm like 5'10", and that one was easily and had taller than me at the end of the season. So that one needs some significant staking to make sure it's happy and the wind can't push it over, because that happened at the end of the season last year. But the blooms it produced were just gorgeous. It had also massive large blooms, and the light peachy, yellowy color palette in the bloom was just totally my jam. Had also like shades of pink and purple like in it at times, depending on the temperature. So again, like that just fits in with most of my colors, and I just loved that one. The next one is a Cozy Town Sugarberry, also one which stole my heart because that was one of the few bicolored ones which I had in my garden. And the fun thing with the bicolored ones is that how the color shows up in the bloom is different per bloom. So that was really, really fun to see how every bloom looked a little bit different from the other one, which was really cool. I enjoyed that one a lot. So I'm curious to see what blooms I'll get this season, and I can't wait to see her again. And then one which I purely and only grow for my pollinators or for my bumblebees, because I can't get enough of taking pictures of that dahlia with bumblebees on it. And yes, I have a full collection of those pictures just to show you here a few of those. But it's one of my favorite motifs, and that is the Bloomquist Golden. This one has absolutely no vase life. None at all. Like literally when you take it off, it basically drops already all the petals. So I only leave that in the garden just purely for the joy of me seeing the bumblebees all over it, and yeah, just taking pictures of it. That's the only purpose of it. That's also why I only grow one plant of it. It also gets really tall and very vigorous, so it cranks out a lot of blooms. Last year my garden had only one as well. But if you keep deadheading the dead blooms, it will keep producing and making the bumblebees happy. So I really enjoy that one. And then one which I had last year, but this one was like the, which one was it? Like the Jane Ray was shaded out and crowded out by a couple of other very, very quick, so that it never had like the best of all chances. So this year gets a little bit of a better setup, I hope. But that's the Cocoa Puff, really, really cute little purpley ball color. So I think I just got one or two blooms out of it, but I wanted to give it another chance and another try, because I didn't set it up for success last year, and then I always feel bad. So this one gets another chance this season. And yeah, last but not least of the ones which are regrowing, except for a couple special ones, is the Cozy Town Dutch. This one was a gorgeous one as well, and also the bloom shape was so unique. I wish it had produced a few more blooms than it did, but again, like it had this massive large blooms which were like quite petal heavy, with all of those like gorgeously shaped petals in this light fade deep purple pinkish color hue. I really enjoyed that one, so that definitely gets a rerun in my garden as well. So those were all the varieties which I'm going to regrow from my own tuber stock, which at the moment sleeps happily in the basement so far and looks really, really good. So I'm excited for this. So we'll talk about the giveaway in just a few minutes. But let me talk a little bit about my special project for this year. Is, you might remember my beautiful seedling, which I'm hybridizing right now. And now we're in the third year, which means like this is the last year to test that it's truly stable in its color and in its habits, and then I might want to sell it next year. Not might, I want to sell it. So if you're interested to hear first from me when I'm planning to sell it, I have in the description a link where you can sign up for the launch list, so that you're on the first email list, which is going out once I know when the date is and when I truly want to sell it. So check that one out. But I'm super excited for this. So this seedling is not included in the giveaway. I'm growing out every tuber, and I'm working together with two amazing growers. Looking forward to it. So hey Gabby, hey Carrie, to get all of my tubers grown out, because that was one of the most vigorous tuber producers also in last year's garden. I had 5 plants and they produced 66 viable, beautiful, gorgeous tubers with eyes, which I've never seen before. It was like Dahlia jackpot. So we'll see if we can repeat that this year, and if this planting and tuber producing habit is consistent. But I'm really excited to share this one with all of you next year. Sign up for it if you want to hear first from me. Let's talk a little bit about the 3 Dahlia varieties I bought, because who can ever resist a Dahlia sale or doesn't want to add a new Dahlia to the setup? I can't resist, so I always have to at least, like, the minimum was for me 3. I do have still, in theory, 3 spots open if I find something else what I want to grow. But the 3 I got was like 2 from Triple Wren Farm, which is 2 KA varieties, which I always love, although they don't do great in my garden, I gotta say, but I can't stop giving them chances and seeing which one of them work for me. And this one is the Mocha Katie, which I'm excited about, and the Bo Peep, which I tried already to get like 2 seasons ago, and something happened to the tuber, so they refunded me for it. But those are the two which I'm really excited for it. And then the last one I got was Cozy Town, of course, although I really want to get more from her. But with that dream card shopping method she has, like everybody can basically build up the cart, and then you gotta be really lightning fast at 1 p.m. when the sale goes on to get yours. So I only got one of the few I wanted to get, but it's all right. It's just what it is at times. But it's the Cozy Town parasol. Again, like surprise, surprise, a white and pink one again, but I really love the shape and the color combo, and it will fit perfectly in with everything I have. So that is the lineup for this year. And yeah, I just can't wait to have my flowers again. That is truly what brings me the most joy in the summer, to have all of those flowers in my cut flower garden growing and flourishing. So let's talk about the giveaway. First, how can you win? Number one, please subscribe to my channel. And number two, comment below what 5 Dahlia varieties you would love to get tubers from, because I'm going to pick 5 of you who are able to get 5 tubers from my stock. Please pick the ones you like the most, and if the ones are already taken, or somebody who came before you, because I'll pick the first winner, second winner, and so on later with a random comment picker in the end. But if tubers are already taken, I will make a replacement pick which is close enough to the color to the one which you picked. And yeah, it's only for people over 18. It's US continental states only. So sorry, my international friends. I know I have a bunch of them. And the giveaway is open until March 14th, midnight Eastern Standard Time. And I'm going to reply once the winners are drawn in the comments. You have 1 week to send me your email. If you don't respond or don't react to my comment, I will pick another one in your place. And yeah, the important one, I'm going to ship the tubers out when it's time, which is not right now, which is probably early April or so, when it's safe with the weather to ship them actually out to you. And this giveaway is not associated with YouTube in any way, so good luck. And I'm curious to see what your favorite varieties are. And yeah, let me know if you have any other questions about the Dahlia varieties or any content of this video. Otherwise, subscribe and watch another video. Thank you.